Hello and welcome to this webinar on how to use option chain by Sensible. So let's look at our agenda. First, we'll spend some time in understanding the option chain. Second, you will spend some time on understanding how to use this option chain to get a sense of direction of the market, because this is the most important, right? If you get direction right, nothing else really matters. We'll understand what is PCR, which is put call ratio, and max pain. And finally, we'll analyze open interest data and introduce you to some tools on how to analyze open interest data. Right? We'll take you through Sensible option chain. I'll quickly in like 10 seconds run you through all the features we have on Sensible option chain. So we have open interest, we have open interest analysis and historical option chain. We have Greeks, IV, IVP, IV chart, max pain, PCR. We have multi-strike OI analysis. We have a liquidity indicator, a probability of expiry in the money. We have alerts on WhatsApp, interestingly. We have virtual trading without real money. We have basket order and we have payoff analysis. Foo. Okay, so these are our features. Hopefully it didn't take more than 10 seconds. Okay, so let's look at why should we look at an option chain? This is the most important question, right? Option chain helps you understand supports and resistances. So a support is a zone from where a stock or an index is likely to go up, and a resistance is a zone from where it is likely to go down. Support means that will go up from there, let's say index is at 10,500, it falls to 10,200. At 10,200 there's a support, means it will stay there for a while or go up. At 10,800 there's a resistance, means it will stay there or come down, right? And this analysis using option chain works very well for Nifty and Bank Nifty, which is practically 90% of India's trading volumes. It works reasonably well for big stocks like HDFC, Reliance, and etc. It does not work for anything outside indices and big stocks. This is something you have to be very careful about. Most people look at option chain as an end-all solution to all direction finding, but it doesn't work for smaller stocks. So what does option chain basically do, right? So I'll just quickly show you what an option chain looks like, and let me full screen it. An option chain, this is the chain, right? It lists every strike here. It shows you the number of call option contracts outstanding in this, these orange bars, and it tells you put option contracts outstanding in the green bar. So the bigger the orange bar, the more the call options there. The bigger the green bar, the more the put options there. So this is basically an option chain. List all the strikes here, tell you the open interest on each of these strikes on the left. So you can see my cursor move. All these left, it is calls. You can see all these orange bars. These are all the green bars, puts. We call these open contracts of options by the name open interest. So the call option, so for example, right, the call option open interest on this strike of 10,600 is 24.4. Similarly, the put option open interest on 10,400 is 23.3 lakh quantity, which is the put option OI on 10,200 is 14.4 lakhs. The call option open interest on 10,800 contract is 19.2 lakhs. In brackets, you can also see how much it has changed. So it means that this OI has increased 71%. This OI on 10,400 put green side has moved up by 55%. This OI has increased, 26%. This has increased to 26%, and so on and so forth, right? So the basic anatomy of option chain which we have is all the strikes are listed here. All the calls are listed on the left side in orange. All the puts are listed in right side in green. We show the change in OI in brackets and the absolute OI outside, and all of this is in lakh quantities, the OI. But importantly, we have to keep in mind that this doesn't work 100% of the time, right? Nothing works 100% of the time. Option chain alone is a good indicator, but it's not conclusive. So it basically means that, see, whatever we are going to learn in this webinar, it is going to work most of the time, and it's a very, very good indicator, but it's not a 100% thing, and you cannot do a trade based on marginal results from this alone, assuming that this is what will happen, right? They have to be, and these numbers have to be again backed by volume and big open interest, right? So we'll come to what do I mean by big volume, big OI and all that. You don't have to worry about that now. And this works in some stocks better than the other stocks. So for example, it works very well on Nifty, it works very well on Bank Nifty, it works very well on some big stocks like Reliance, on HDFC Bank, on probably State Bank of India, Tata Steel, etc., etc. It might not work on something like Punjab National Bank or Yes Bank or DLF or some of these smaller more volatile stocks. It works very well in near expiries and not far expiries. That is because in near expiries, trading is active. There's a lot of open interest and option contracts going on. In far expiries, the trading is not very active and open interest is not significant, right? So the open interest has to be a big number for it to mean anything. So we'll again come to this on the option chain. You don't have to worry about what is this big. And so you have to look at option chain after a few days of trading and not on day one of a new series. So for example, if you look at open interest on Nifty on Friday, which is the first day of a weekly expiry, when the expiry is on the next Thursday, it might not mean something significant. On let's say a Wednesday when tomorrow is an expiry, it may mean something because a lot of trading has happened, a lot of open interest has formed. So you have to look at open interest after the open interest gets formed a little bit. That is, after some trading has happened, not very early on in the series. By that I mean, some calls have to be traded, some puts have to be traded, because that's how open interest gets created, right? And finally, you cannot look at open interest for smaller stock option because let's face it, right? There are so many allegations of these things getting manipulated and anything can happen. So let's just stick to one thing. If we are doing open interest analysis, we'll stick to Nifty, Bank Nifty, and major stocks. Right, and you always have to dig deeper and combine it with other indicators like your trend line support, your technical analysis, etc., etc. Okay, so let's quickly jump into what this option chain looks like. I'll tell you what are the things we'll run you through. We'll tell you about these three things on the top, which is IV chart, information, analysis of OI, etc. We'll tell you something about this Greeks and this toggle and this demo and all that. We'll tell you something about what is this IV thing, but not too much because there's a separate video coming for that. And IV is slightly out of the scope of this discussion where we are just focusing on finding supports and resistances and exploring this option chain. Like I said before, we'll introduce you to this number and this number. And finally, we'll look at the big one, and the big one is this, right? This red big one and this red big one, which is fundamentally open interest itself, because this is the most important part of an option chain, these green bars and these orange bars. Okay, so let's dive into that without further ado, what it means. So what does OI mean? OI means that somebody is willing to sell an option, right? OI gets created when an option is traded, and in a trade there are two parties, a buyer and a seller. So when a buyer buys from a seller or a seller sells to a buyer, then an open interest gets created. So someone is buying and someone is selling, and at this point I'm going to introduce to you a very important concept, that option selling is more important than option buying. Why? Because see, it takes a lot of conviction and margin to sell an option at an unlimited risk, or in other words, right, option selling is also something in which you make money purely by time value decay and by getting the premium, etc. In other words, option selling is like selling an insurance, which takes a lot of conviction, a lot of margins, and a strategy which is not really dependent on direction. It's like you're selling an option to get the premium. So usually these sellers who sell an option are people with some amount of money. Usually they are big institutions. Retail investors don't usually trade options by selling them. They're usually buyers. It's exactly like insurance, right? An option is also an insurance. So LIC sells me an insurance contract, SBI Life sells you an insurance, but we don't go around selling insurance to other people, right? We are buyers ultimately. So usually a seller is someone with money, a big institution, and we have to assume that the big institution knows what they are doing most of the times. I'm not saying all the time, most of the times. Let's say 8 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times, right? And ultimately that's what trading is about, getting it right 8 out of 9 times, 9 or 10, I mean 8 or 9 times out of 10. So buyer is usually a retail investor. Institutions are usually right, which means sellers are right. This is the most important concept which you have to understand when it comes to options, right? Option sellers are big guys who are usually always right. So let's quickly look at the option chain and see what I mean by this. So here is an OI, right? At 10,000, there are 20.3 lakh contracts of puts. This means that there are 20.3 lakh sold option contracts here, and there are 20.3 lakh bought option contracts here. Similarly, if you look at 10,600, there are 24 lakh sold contracts here and 24 lakh bought contracts here. 11,000, 27 lakh contracts here, sold and bought both, right? So all of this means that somebody is willing to sell so many of these contracts, or somebody, in the sense that a lot of people, a lot of big institutions come together and they are willing to take these bets on these strikes. Now what does that mean? So if somebody is selling a 10,600 call, right, it means that they are saying, I don't think this is going to cost 10,600, so I'm going to make the entire premium. Similarly, when somebody sells a 10,000 put or a 10,400 put, that somebody is fundamentally taking a bet that, boss, I am willing to take a bet that this is not going to go below, let's say, a 10,400 or 10,000 or something. So this is a bet by somebody that it won't go above 10,600, the seller, and this is a bet by the seller of the put that it won't go below 10,000, which basically means that a call OI is a large institution saying this won't go above this strike, and if you assume that this large institution is going to be right, then the call OI is technically a resistance and a stock or an index will not cross that point. Similarly, if you assume that a put OI seller, a put seller is a strong enough institution which says, look, I don't think it is going to go below that, then you have to assume that they are right, and probably that is going to act like a support. So if it falls to, let's say, 10,000, it is probably going to bounce back this week because there is somebody standing here, and you can assume that this is going to struggle to cross 10,600 this week because there are so many contracts here, right? You can also say that it is going to be difficult to cross 10,400 also because there are people standing here. So 10,600 and 10,400 you can see has decent OI, and once 10,400 is taken out, this becomes your next support, right? And after 10,600, 11,000 becomes your next support. So you can see this is a support, this is a support, sorry, this is a resistance, this is a resistance, this is a support, 10,400 put, and 10,000 put is a support. So basically what it means is a call option OI acts as a resistance, and a put option OI, that strike, becomes a support, right? And we just went through this, so I'll not read out this slide and repeat what I said so far, but let's leave it on the screen for a second. Okay, so a huge call option buildup is a resistance, a huge put option buildup is a support. If there are huge OIs in two or more close call strikes, it's a zone of resistance. If it's a huge OI in two or more close put strikes, it's usually a region of support, right? And that's also simple. So in this you can't see a region as such, but if you look at 10,500 and 10,400 has reasonably large put OIs, this zone of 10,400 to 10,500 is a reasonable support zone, and this zone of 10,600 to 10,700 is a reasonable resistance zone. So the index is going to struggle to break out either side from these things, which brings us to an important concept called put call ratio. So let's just quickly recap. What do you know so far? A put option OI is a support, call option OI is a resistance, and again this works well for Nifty, etc., not for, and even for Bank Nifty. So you can easily switch from Nifty to Bank Nifty using our, and you can see this, right? Bank Nifty also has contracts getting formed. It's not as big as Nifty because Nifty we were seeing 24 lakh contract and all. This has relatively less open interest and it's not as reliable, right? So a 20 lakh contract outstanding on Bank Nifty or Nifty versus, let's say, a 5 lakh contract outstanding on Bank Nifty, this is not a significant number. Now let's look at another stock which is doing the rounds. Let's say Tata Steel or TCS, right? Look at TCS. In TCS you can see some kind of open interest. There's 4 lakh contracts here, there is 2 lakh contracts here. So it's going to struggle to cross 2100 probably, maybe, but it did cross. So now the next resistance is 2200, But as you can see, these OIs are not significant like Nifty and Bank Nifty. And if you look at an even less traded stock like PNB, you can see that there is hardly any OI in majority of the strikes. There are some OIs in all these strikes, but you have to take into perspective the fact that 35 is the stock price and 35 into 21 here is not big. Whereas a TCS, a 2000 rupee stock giving you, a 3 lakh open interest per contract or 5 lakh open interest per contract or per strike is much more important than a 35 rupee giving a 21 lakh OI. So if you look at Nifty for example, right? So if you look at Nifty is worth around 10,500 and then there is some 20 lakhs or 15 lakhs contracts at each strikes. Whereas a low value stock such as PNB, which is only worth 35 rupees, even if it gives you 15 lakh contracts, the notional value is very less and I probably wouldn't take this OI very seriously. Let me look at Reliance for example. Reliance is a 2000 rupee stock almost and it has 30 lakh contracts OI. Now this is again significant because big stock price, big OI value, both of them combined, I can take this OI seriously. So you can see that Reliance has resistance at 1800, Reliance has support at 1700 and 1600 and all that. So the trick is you have to ask yourself which one looks significant and which one doesn't, right? So HDFC Bank for example, it's a big stock, 1000 rupees stock and it has decent OI, 10 lakh, 13 lakh, etc. This is not bad. So you have to look at which stocks can be taken seriously depending on the OI. DLF again, this is hardly any OI. It's only a 150 rupee stock and you can see that OI is like 9 lakh, 6 lakh, etc. So I would probably not take it very seriously. Now let's look at put call ratio. Put option open interest means market is likely to go up from that point or in general. Call option OI means market is likely to go down from the resistance point of call options or even in general. So if there are more puts than calls, you can assume that market is more bullish than bearish. Now that's counterintuitive, right? Everyone thinks put is a bad thing, but the reality is when puts are more, market is more likely to go up. Why? Because put sellers, right? We talked about this concept. Somebody is selling, it means that they are convinced that the market is not going down, therefore it is good for the market. Which is also the reason why in our option chain, we chose green as the color of puts and red as the color of calls. So red is bad for the market, red is dead, from red comes down the market, whereas puts are good for the market, from green bounces back the market, therefore this put is green. So put call ratio is the number of puts divided by the number of calls. Number of puts divided by the number of calls. I mean, this is again counterintuitive because I should have probably changed position, right? Because why? Puts are actually bullish because sellers are bullish. So let me just change that right away, right? Puts are a sign of bullishness, calls are a sign of bearishness. So a low put call ratio means the market is bearish and a high put call ratio means the market is bullish. So what do I mean by high and low? So 0.7, right? 0.7 is the magic number of an average put call ratio. So let me write that down here, 0.7. Roughly around this number is the magic number of put call ratio being neutral. Anything above this is a sign of bullishness, anything below this is a sign of bearishness. Now this number keeps changing according to market condition and all, but generally assumed consensus is that it's slightly below 1, somewhere near 0.7 is the neutral number. Okay. So a high PCR is bullish, which means more puts than calls. Why? Because big sellers are willing to sell puts more than calls, means that they are saying the market won't go down much. It means that the market is bullish. But it does not necessarily mean that you go long. It is bullish and whether you enter here or not entirely depends on, other things. So which you will obviously analyze. So what does the low PCR mean? A low PCR means that the market is bearish. It simply means that there are more calls than puts and big sellers are willing to sell the calls more than puts, which means that they are scared of market falling and not so much of rising. Therefore, a low PCR usually means the market is bearish. It does not mean you go short just by looking at this number. these two numbers are a good indicator or a confirmation to your analysis if the market is bullish or bearish. In the sense that, let's say you think the market is bullish, just look at PCR once. If PCR is greater than 1, or if it's 0.9 or 1.1 or something, yeah, you're probably right. You feel it's bullish, even the market is telling you yes, it's bullish. Similarly, a low PCR, you think the market is bearish, you look at the option chain, if the PCR is coming as 0.5, then yeah, for sure, it's more likely that you're right, and therefore you can, short the market. So let's first answer the question, where do I get this PCR from? So that's very simple. In Sensible's option chain, you see this info button. You click on this, you will see the PCR here. So you can see it here, right? It says PCR 1.14, it is bullish. So Nifty right now looks bullish purely looking at PCR, right? Purely looking at PCR. But I won't believe it 100% because when I'm recording this webinar, we are in a Friday, right? And Friday is the first day of expiry. And not too much trading has happened for this week's option. I would probably look at this number again on Monday evening or Tuesday morning. But currently, looking at PCR just on the Friday, I probably wouldn't want to take any bets right now. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, which is called Max Pain. So Max Pain theory says that option expiry will happen at a point called Max Pain, which naturally begs the question, what is this Max Pain point? So Max Pain point is a point where option sellers incur the least amount of losses. What do I mean by that? So basically, right, the entire argument which is going around looks like, this entire market is rigged in the favor of sellers, therefore they'll make sure that the market expires where they lose the least amount of money. So if you believe that for a second, that market will always conspire to make sure that the sellers lose least amount of money, then it will happen at the point called Max Pain. So Max Pain is some strike where we think that the expiry will happen because that causes the least amount of damage to sellers. But this is just a theory without much academic evidence, so you have to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. I mean, there is a lot of merit in this argument, that sellers are most likely to be right and all that, but, buyer beware, seller beware in this case, right? So, where do I get to see Max Pain? It's on this chart, and currently it is saying the Max Pain is at 10,500, and it is saying it is bearish. Now, what it means to say is that if Nifty expires at 10,500, this expiry, with the data which is given there right now, the sellers will lose the least amount of money if the expiry is at 10,500. This is what essentially this sentence means. So if Nifty expires at 10,500, sellers have the least amount of losses. So currently Nifty is at 10,600. It is saying that the Max Pain theory is predicting that this expiry might be around 10,500. If this is true, then expiry will happen around 10,500, which is a downward movement. Therefore, it says it is bearish, right? Okay. So we learned about open interest, we learned about put call ratio, and we learned about Max Pain. Now we'll quickly go through what else can you do in Sensible's option chain. So there is a liquidity indicator, which is very nice and very useful. So see, the biggest problem with all these options is you don't know if this option is liquid enough or not. What we do is, in case an option is not very liquid, we put this tiny thing which you see here, right? There's an icon here which is a gray icon. If you look at 150 strike, right, you can see a tiny gray round icon with a water drop and a cross mark on it. It is saying that this option is not very liquid, whereas the other options are all liquid. Similarly, if you look at this put of 10,950, you can see that it's not very liquid. 11,050 put on the right side, just below the buy and sell buttons, you can see that it is not very liquid because there's that tiny gray icon right next to the LTP, the column number on this column, right? This column, you can see this gray round thing, right? So this is our liquidity indicator. It tells you if the strike is liquid or not. We also show you the probability of expiry in the money, and this is very useful. So let's say you're looking at 10,600, right? You can see that the mathematical probability that the sell will expire in the money is 53% and the buy will expire in the money is, the sell will make money is 53% because there is a 47% chance that 10,600 will expire in the money, right? So 53% of the times you will it will end up as OTM, therefore you will make money. So let's look at something more interesting. 10800 call. So 10800 calls in the money expiry probability, which is the probability that the market will cross 10800 is 20%. So this is coming from a purely mathematical model, of course. This does not take into consideration the buyer and seller and the sentiment and FIA data and all that. But purely from a distance perspective, you can see that there's an 80% chance that the 10800 will expire out of the money. That is, the index won't cross 10800, and there's a 20% chance that the index might cross 10800. This gives you a very good sense of is it a good bet to take or a bad bet to take, right? And you can see it for every strike. So this is the probability of expiry in the money. What else can you do? So you can also set alerts on WhatsApp for LTPs or option prices. So this column is the LTPs of option prices, and if you look at this, you can set alerts here. So if I click on set alerts, it will ask me to set an alert. So I can say when Nifty call option crosses 10600, so 10600's price is now 100 rupees. When it is above 110, let me know. Or I can say when Nifty index is above 10800, let me know, etc., etc. So this is a WhatsApp alert. You can also get it on your mobile app of Sensible. So this is a very useful feature if you don't want to constantly look at the screen. Now it also shows you the best bids and offers, OHLC, etc., etc. Now here's another interesting aspect of this. You can analyze an options payoff diagram from the option chain. So you can see this, right? This is your option, and you can see that this is the payoff diagram of the option. And this is a very useful feature if you are wondering something like, you know what, I will sell this 10650 call. What will happen if the index is at 10630 on 7th of July? So you can see that you made around 2000 rupee profit, which is very useful, right? It's an analysis of scenario. If you can answer the question, what will happen if index is at 10650 on Tuesday, will I make money or lose money? That takes away half your problems as an option trader, and it gives you other data like how much is the premium you're getting, where is your break even point, again a very important number, how much is the theta decay, how much is the margin required, how much is the capital required, what is the 3-day return on this option, what's the probability of profit. It's very, very interesting to get all the data at one place before putting the trade in. So let's switch back to this. What else can you do? You can do virtual trading. This is very useful if you're a beginner. So let's say that you don't want to do the trade, you're just experimenting, you're new to options. What you can do is you can say that I want to add to a virtual trade. So this creates a trade without real money on this option. So I say that I'm going to buy this call, let's say, 5 quantity. If I'm trading without real money, I might as well live it up, right? Anyway, you have an unlimited amount of virtual money. So I'll do 10 quantities of Nifty 10800 call at 29 rupees. And if I say virtual trade, it will hit me with this model which tells me to create a new virtual portfolio. You can create a new portfolio and it goes inside your virtual trade section. So now you have a virtual trade. If you click on this, it will go to your virtual trade. What else can you do? You can analyze payoff, which we already showed, and you can create a basket order and analyze the payoff. Now this is very interesting. So let's say you want to do a call spread. Let's say I want to sell this 10600 call. So I'm going to do this 10600 call, sell one quantity, and I want to buy a 10700 call as protection, right? And now I'm looking at it, so I can see there's a basket order getting created, 10600 call sell and 10700 call buy. Now let me see what it looks like. I can click on analyze and it opens in a builder and I can see the payoff of this option structure. So here it is, you can see this, you can see how much is the premium you're getting, how much is the max profit, how much is the max loss, what's the break even, what will happen if this goes here on this day or here on this day. Let's say on 8th of July, if index is at 10,510, how much money will you make? You can do all sorts of analysis. It gives you a probability of profit, 4-day return. You can see the margin required has now significantly reduced because of the hedge benefit, etc., etc., etc. Right? So this is another thing you can do in this option chain. Which brings us to open interest analysis. We'll quickly go through what all can you do in Sensible's open interest analysis. So to go to open interest analysis, what you have to do is you can click on this button, which is Analyze OI. So if you click on it, it will open this new page. So you can see this, right? There are many features here. I'll go through them one by one, just 4 features. First is the intraday open interest change. The second is the historical option chain. The third is option OI versus time, which is like a graph. We'll have a better clue if we take a monthly expiry or something. So you can see this graph every day how the OI has changed, and then there is a futures OI. These are the 4 things which we do with open interest analysis. So this is a simple graph, right? What this does is, let's say you want to see what is the change in OI on the last session. You can see this. On July 3rd, they added a lot of puts, they added some calls, they unwound lower calls, and some more puts were added here. If you want to know what happened in weekly Nifty, you can just click it like this here. And you can see what happened on the weekly Nifty on that day. Some calls were added, many more puts were added. The number of calls added at 10,600 is more than the number of puts added in 10,600. So call change is around 7.1 million, put change is around 6.9 million, almost even Steven. And you can see the futures here. So if I want to see what happened between June 30th and July 3rd, I can see it here. So basically I can select my range and it tells me what was the OI change in that day range. Then comes historical option chain. If you want to know how OI changed every day in this month's expiry or in this week's expiry, you can see it here. On July 3rd, this was the OI. On July 2nd, this was the OI. On July 1st, this is what it looked like. So you can see this, right? On July 1st, a lot of puts were added at 10,000 and it moved up. And you can see every day's OI change, right? I mean, so this was last June's open interest analysis. So in June, you can see that there was a lot of puts getting added. So Nifty future was at 10,071 on June 18th. There were a lot of puts. Again, lot of puts and it went to 10,235. Lot of puts, it went to 10,288. Lot of puts, again, it went to 10,467. So you can see because of this puts, it keeps pushing the market. And interestingly, between June 23rd and June 24th, a lot of calls were added and you can see the market fell around 1%. Again, calls, puts. So basically as calls increase here, the market goes up, puts increase here, market go down. And this is the OI versus time. You can see this is the call OI and put OI, put OI and call OI on June 26th, put OI and call OI on 29th, put OI and call OI on 30th, and so on and so forth. And this finally is the futures OI. You can explore this, right? Another interesting thing we have done to this is we give you a graph where you can look at the intraday changes of open interest in this format. So this is called the multi-strike OI analysis. We have like almost real-time data on this. So you can see this, right? This tells you how. So when you take this thing, by default, it loads the most active option contracts. So let me load Nifty weekly options. So you can see that 10,600 July call is the most active OI. And you can see that the call open interest has been increasing steadily on Friday. The second most active, so this is the second most active call contract, it is 10,700. Then there is 10,800. You can also add the puts here. You can even select some only, like, I want to only select these. So basically you can see how index moved. This dotted line is index and how this call option and put option OI moves across the day. Now the thing is, when you see that these green colored ones, which is the put OI, is increasing significantly, you can assume that the index is looking strong. And if the red colored ones are looking strong, then you can assume that index might become weak. Now this graph is not very conclusive because this is on Friday, the first day of movement. So perhaps one good exercise you can do is on a Wednesday or a Thursday, just look at how call OI and put OI keeps changing during the day. So if you can see the call OI getting added a lot, right, you can assume that if this red line or any of these red colored shades of red lines go up, you can assume that the market is weak, and if any of these greens go up, you can assume that the market is strong. You can look at it for any particular strike. So how do you access this? I mean, you can just type the strike here and you can again see the most active contracts for that particular strike. Okay, there are two modes here, cumulative and change, and you can also look at the spot or the future. I mean, there are lots of settings you can explore. You can have your own watch lists created. You can add your own custom contracts to this list, look at what is happening. But I would say the most useful thing is to stick to the most active contracts, because ultimately volume and OI is believable only if you have large data. Okay, so that brings us to the close of our webinar on what we have done recently in option chain, open interest analysis, multi-strike OI analysis, etc. etc. I hope this session is useful to you in understanding some of our features and understanding how to get some sense of market prediction. Remember that none of these things are conclusive or a magic bullet for you to kind of get the sense of direction. It goes in with a lot of other analysis, which we hopefully will be able to bring you in future webinars. Alright, I hope you had fun and you were able to get some useful information. Oh yeah, and this option chain is entirely free of cost, so please feel free to explore it as much as you want. Thank you so much.